Welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Sylvester Inspires Belief Cast. I am so grateful for this day today and more excited for you guys. I have a really good friend of mine and a colleague of mine, Jason English, today. So thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason is currently the outpatient operations manager at our day treatment facility for Wasatch Recovery. You've been here, how many years you've been here now?
A little over 5.
A little over 5 years. Love working with him. He's got an amazing work ethic, and the way he lives his life is actually pretty remarkable, and we can all learn from what he does. So I'm excited to introduce him here in just a second fully. I do need to give thanks to our sponsor, Veracity Networks. Thank you for believing in me and giving me this opportunity. And also your listeners, I want to thank you guys for believing in me as well. You guys have shared this with so many people, and the feedback's been phenomenal. And I pinch myself just thinking, man, I can't believe where this is at right now. So thank you so much. And Jason's going to be no different. We've had amazing guests on, and this is just going to add to the list. So a little background on Jason. He was born and raised in North Las Vegas, Nevada. And, he has seen everything from the bad and the good associated with Vegas. He also loved playing sports, but coming from a single-parent home and a single-parent income, with him and his sibling, they couldn't afford, organized sports. And so you didn't play until high school, which I never knew that. And you worked really, really hard, and you earned a football scholarship to Weber State University. And I'm excited to talk about that as well. I like, you're soft-spoken, kind-hearted, always been with the mindset of hardworking and helping where he can. And it's really true. That's why we love you here at Wasatch, because you help so much. You've been married 16 years. You spent 19 years working in the field of serving other people. So welcome.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks,
absolutely. So you grew up in Vegas, born and raised there. Let's talk a little bit about that, about your family life and growing up, and give us a little background there.
Well, you think about Vegas, and of course people think drugs, sex, everything all over the place.
Right.
How can you raise your kids in Vegas, things like that. But it's basically, it's kind of a survival,
Yeah.
Single parent home, my sister, and all we knew is hard work from our mom, and, go to work, whether you're sick, tired,
Right.
Being an adult now, you kind of understand the things that a parent should hide and keep away from a child. Let a child grow up and be a child.
Right.
You have friends who you think are your friends. Your parents will always tell you, be careful. You don't know who your friends really are until you're put in a situation. So mom being away, had to raise my sister a little bit too. Daycare center, go to school, go home, do your homework, cook dinner if need be, and then I'll be home. We weren't not taken care of.
Right.
We were just shown ways to survive, in a sense, too.
Yeah. So you're the oldest?
I am the oldest.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. How did you feel a lot of pressure, feeling like you had to, help pitch in raising with your daughter, or is that just all you knew?
With my sister, no. It would be, you just learned right from wrong. Touch the stove, it's hot.
Yeah.
You don't touch it again once you learn.
Right.
Yeah. And most of those things were disappointment. I didn't want to let my mom down.
Yeah.
Anything I did. So with those things, it was, this is what you need to do. This is what I need to get done. And I would just follow through with it. And sometimes there was reward and sometimes there was punishment if it wasn't done to her liking or a certain way, things like that.
So was she pretty strict with you guys?
Very.
Okay.
Very strict. Nobody is allowed in the house when I'm not here. Was that rule broken? Of course it was. You always push the bar and push the limit and things like that. So when things would come up missing, I'm not going to steal from my own house. So I had to learn who my friends really were,
Gotcha.
And I watched things, I saw things, and that's when I would, not want to hang out with certain people anymore because they were stealing from me, who I thought were my friends.
Right.
I would had an anger issue and problem. Went to some counseling as a young kid, and it was more of probably acting out, things like that, not being able to interact the way other kids were interacting, sports,
Right.
only in school, until I got to high school. But with that, you just figure out ways to get through life, get through the day, work through your anger without acting out or hurting other people in a sense.
Right.
So,
Gotcha. Your mom was obviously very strict and trying to keep things in line, which makes sense. She's trying to protect you guys. Were there other lessons that she would teach along those lines that you can remember?
no, not necessarily. I think it was more the way she was raised.
Yeah.
We didn't live very far away from my grandmother's house, the house that she grew up in, which was about 5-6 blocks away.
Oh, okay.
And so we spent a lot of time over there too. And when we would go to my grandmother's house, it would be along the same lines. This is what needs to be done. This is how you do it. If there's any problems or concerns, you need to take care of it and fix it, in a sense. So I think it was more of her upbringing as well, is these are my problems, not anybody else's problems. I have to figure it out in a sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
With my mom, I had an uncle and an aunt who my mom would say things like, I laid in the bed, now I have to make it type things, where she had kids. We weren't dumped off on my grandmother. My other not siblings, but my other nieces and nephews were, and my grandmother kind of raised them in a sense where we were my mom's problem, not everybody else's problem in a sense.
Yeah.
But we weren't problems, if that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. So, you're right. I think a lot of people, when they think of Vegas, they do think, the drugs and the crime and the sex industry down there and all that stuff, which tends to also, where my head goes, is it was probably maybe a rougher area to grow up in. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You did mention off the air that, you were maybe even contemplating, even considering joining a gang, but something changed your mind. Can you talk about that experience?
My own mom took me to a detention center, and they basically held me there with my mom's permission for an entire day.
Really?
Put me through the ringer as far as intake process, sitting you in a cell. This is our schedule in a sense, like you have no rights here, in a sense. And being probably 10 to 12 years old, I'm like, this sucks. This isn't what I really want, and, just talking to a couple of the corrections officers that were there, like, are you sure? Because we'll always have a place for you. If that's the lifestyle you want to live, there's always going to be a place for you no matter what. Or they can kill you and then you're not even walking this earth.
You're not even walking on here. Yeah,
exactly. So after that day, people say, oh, that's scare tactics. That's scared straight, this, that, and the other. And it's like, maybe, this is your brain on drugs. This is drugs, those things. They scared me.
Right.
So but I don't feel I operate out of fear either. I just live my life, and I just, from that point to now, just live my life.
So how old were you when your mom took you there?
I would say between 10 and 12 years old.
10 and 12, yeah. Well, I mean, your mom sounds like a pretty incredible lady, because again, what she's doing, she's trying to protect you.
Absolutely.
Right? At the end of the day, that was her motive, it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hope.
Yeah.
That's what I would hope. That's a motherly instinct, we would never know about that. But as we look back, you see that I think mothers, or even parents in general, protect their kids.
Yeah.
At no cost, at any cost.
Right. Well, obviously you love sports growing up, but you do mention that you didn't have maybe an opportunity to play some of those organized sports and join, be part of those prep leagues and stuff. How was that on your well-being and I guess your mental mindset back then?
I never hit me that I wasn't good enough, because I had a bunch of friends that were good enough that their parents were able to. They had, what I looked at is, they had their parents. I had a parent, so had I had a father figure in the house, maybe I could have played sports, with them because they did have both parents in the house or other people providing, by any means necessary, providing them to play, because it costs. You have to pay to play,
right,
in a sense. But I would go to their games. I would, help warm them up, go through some
really?
drills, and
Okay.
but they didn't have like scholarship-ish
Yeah.
things back in the day that I didn't think about or know about, like they do today. You see a kid playing, you're going to give them a chance to play no matter what. I'll help them play.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, they would play their game on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning, and then afterwards we'd go in the streets and play. And they would, Jay, you need to come play.
Right, we need you.
My mom can't afford it, or go to the basketball court. But we would go to we'd always play with the older guys too to get better, be more physical, get pushed around, get knocked down, beat up. I mean, my body is full of scars, from falls, but you just got to get back up and keep playing, in a sense. So I just had a really good group of friends too in the neighborhood that supported me no matter what, and always accepted me to, hey, we're going to go do a pickup game. Let's go play. Okay, let's go. I want him. I want him,
Did you ever find yourself sad about the situation, or was it just, I mean, because again, I know you now, very confident guy, very, you got a really strong mindset. Back then, though, was that the similar? Did you just kind of go with the punches?
A little bit. I thought it was unfair. Why can't I? But I never, when I look back on it now, I never wanted for anything. My mother sacrificed everything she could to make sure that I was raised the way I was raised, and she was able to provide for myself and my sister the things that we had, and now she sacrificed a lot. I mean, 80s, before anything ever, it's crazy to say, but you had Payless shoe store, could barely afford that.
Yeah.
And and Nike was big, fairly popular, Reebok or whatever, but she was always, if that's what you want, save up your money and you buy that stuff, because I'm not buying that stuff for you. You don't need that stuff.
Wow.
So I just learned to figure it out. And do without. So then I didn't know what I wanted.
Right.
Because at that time I had exactly what I needed.
Yeah. Well, and again, I'm hearing what a great lesson that here's your mom saying, well, if you really want those shoes, you do whatever it takes to get those.
Right.
Save it up, get your money, and do that, which is teaching you something really powerful, right? Man, that's awesome. That's really cool. So now you make it to high school, right? And was football the sport you loved the most?
Basketball.
Basketball.
Tony Hopkins. He was my gym teacher when I was in grade school.
Really? Okay.
I was in the 3rd grade and won a layup contest over the entire school. A layup contest.
Okay.
Beat 5th graders.
Really?
4th graders. Beat everybody. No one could make more layups than me in a minute.
Wow.
And he was a rival basketball coach at another school when I was in high school, and never lost to him, and he hated it.
Yeah, I bet he did.
He hated it. Yeah. But it was fun. But he was the guy that introduced me to being competitive in sports, and you have to win, but you have to do it the right way too. Even though I don't know if he probably won't ever hear this, but people that might know me or know him, it's funny that he didn't like to lose, and if you beat him, it was kind of like but it was respect too. It was a lot of respect.
Yeah. So you get to high school. Do you play? So you're playing basketball and football and.
Started out playing football. Never played organized football in my life. Only in the streets.
Right.
And we had a football freshman, 9th grade. Had a football coach that was very militant. So that introduced discipline into my life, where I wasn't a very disciplined person. Get up, do this, do this, do this, do this. I thought I was until him.
Right.
And a lot of that stuck with me too. And then just work ethic too. Seeing my mom struggle and get up and go to work every day, no matter what. And then him, there are no excuses. You can't have excuses, and you just have to push through. Are you hurt or are you injured? There's a difference.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that concept. And when I got into coaching later on in life too, you had to change a lot of things because coaching back then and coaching today,
Yeah.
we kind of coddle a little bit more
I
today
agree.
than we
I
did
agree.
back then. And you just learn to play hurt, and did it make you tougher? It probably did.
Yeah.
But discipline is what I took the most from football, and just worked and worked and worked. Never had a job until I was in college, but with football, the discipline aspect and just the camaraderie with the guys, the winning and the losing,
Right.
and learning how to understand how to deal with those emotions from time to time. And it's it I don't want to say it changes you, but it just puts the other things into perspective, that what matters and what really doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But with football, working really hard. Sophomore year, there was a couple of us guys that worked out with the varsity team, and as they said, okay, you guys sophomores, you guys head down with the JV squad. You guys are going, except for you three. My name was mentioned, and we stayed up there. And then I just learned that I guess I worked hard over the summer.
Yeah.
And then I just kept working hard. And then you got seniors that are backing me up as a sophomore playing football.
Wow.
In 2 years,
Yeah.
went from never playing organized to a 3-year starter.
Wow. What position were you playing?
Slot receiver.
Slot receiver.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Little quick guy, I thought,
Yeah.
until I got to college. But
Right. You're like, thought I was
those
fast.
guys, I thought it was fast.
Yeah.
But just quick and elusive. Can
Mhm.
catch the ball. That's all I've
Yeah.
always thought about was, if I just catch the ball, no matter what, everything else will take care of itself.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
So along with the sports you were playing in high school, what were some of the challenges that you went through in high school? Again, you've got your mom teaching you hard work and some discipline, but now you got this coach who's like, kind of like no excuses kind of thing. And, did that help outside and off the field and off the court?
Yeah, because it was just more the discipline aspect again,
Mhm.
and that's where I try to live a disciplined lifestyle as well.
Mhm.
Do things a certain way, follow schedules.
Yeah.
It came from working with Wasatch Recovery, be impeccable with your word. If you're going to say you're going to do something, you do it,
Right.
no matter what, and just always follow through with the little things,
Yeah.
I feel sometimes if we just take care of the little things, the little details, then the big things are never they're never that big.
Right.
But if you don't do the little things, then those big things are monumentous, and
Yeah.
they overwhelm you. But if you just take care of the little things first, those big things they're not even big
Yeah.
when it comes out.
That
down
makes
to it.
sense. So pretty much flew straight then in high school.
Yep.
And sports is always a good thing to kind of keep things in line. And
Yep. You had to have good grades to
Yep.
play.
Yeah.
You had to be at practice to play. You had to, you couldn't miss school to play. There's a few little incidents where you had like a dentist appointment or a doctor's appointment, things like that. And my main focus was to make sure that, am I going to be able to play tonight? Because I went to the dentist and got my tooth knocked out, They're
Right.
like, oh yeah, everything's good. It's an appointment. I'm like, cause I was just
Yeah.
super stressed about missing,
Mhm.
events,
Right.
because I felt if I didn't play or if I didn't do something, I was letting people down. And that's
Gotcha.
that's still today one of my biggest things that I deal with on a day-to-day is, am I going to let somebody down by not showing up or
Yeah.
not being there for them? Who am I going to let down? And that takes a toll on you,
Yeah. Well, you mentioned even growing up that you never wanted to let your mom down. That was like your main concern growing up. So obviously that's kind of spilled over into other things, but
To this day, we just bought a new home, my wife and
Yeah.
I, and I just want, when you hear, your parents say that they're proud of you, that means a lot,
Mhm.
and she reiterates that over and over again from time
Yeah.
to time, that she's proud of the man I've become,
Oh, yeah.
because there were times growing up that I don't know, I could have been a statistic. I don't know if I would have chose a different path,
Yeah.
and I just never wanted to let her down, and let her know that she did raise a good young man, and I am the man I am today because of her, and without a father figure, and some people can't do that, or
Right.
use that as an excuse to not be who they are today.
Right.
You know, and it's not an excuse for me. You know, is it there? Of course it's there. It'll always be there. I didn't have a father. Who cares? You know, but maybe that's made me a better person today too, not
Sure.
having him there. He did whatever he did with his family. Great.
Right.
But with me, I'm fine.
Yeah. So give us your thoughts on not becoming a statistic. What are your thoughts there?
Man, this world we live in today is so crazy. You turn on Instagram and you see videos of, you know, abuse from cops on
Yeah.
minorities, and you know, I can't get through the video because, you know, it strikes a nerve in a sense.
Sure.
And that's where, you know, fly straight, you know, whatever straight is,
Right.
you know, toe the line, you know, be disciplined, do things that you're supposed to do. And I just feel if you're just good-hearted person in general, things typically work out
Right.
better for you. Just, there are rules for everybody. There's rules for everything. Just learn the rules and follow the rules and ask questions if need be when you get to that point, and just do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You know.
We'll talk about that for a minute, you know, and it would be great to hear your perspective, obviously, because talk about, being African American and being, I guess, considered a minority, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about what that feels like, or the experience of that. I mean, I don't know what that feels like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so I'd love to hear your perspective on it. And just like you said, when you watch some of these cops who are abusing people that they pulled over, you can't even sit through it. You have to turn the thing off. So just talk about that a little bit, Jason.
If I go back a little bit, unless people know me, my mother is white.
Okay.
And so being biracial, my father is black.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where I
Okay.
get a lot of the mix of everything, of why
Okay.
I think the way I think, why I do the things the way I do, is because, again, if we go back to being brought up, my mother was not going to allow certain things to happen in her household. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't
Okay.
going to be stereotyped or a statistic. Not in my house. If you want to do those things, you can leave. There's the front door. You know, so I was given a choice right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
She had rules. I learned to live by rules, structure, sports, discipline, just scheduling and not offending anybody or not letting people down, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And now as we go into that, there are things going on in this world that are horrendous things, and no one really knows what they will do until they're put in that situation.
Yeah.
When you're watching a video of, say, cops being abusive toward minorities,
Mm-hmm.
African American, Hispanic, Asian, you know, it touches us a certain way, and, you know, other races other ways, you know,
Yeah.
based on social economic status, you know,
Yeah.
not ever being around that, you know, lifestyle or upbringing or anything like that. But what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong.
Right.
If a man is yelling for his life and he's in a chokehold, at some point in time, he's not going to be able to breathe.
Right.
So why are two guys holding one guy down
Yeah.
and threatening other people that if they step forward that they're going to shoot them?
Yeah.
Because I guess the bystanders are seeing something going on that's wrong.
Yep. Yeah.
At what point does it click or register in the officer, no matter what their race is, in their head, to stop doing what they're doing? This person is not threatening in any way, shape, or form. And if he is or becomes, then let's maybe shoot to wound and not shoot to kill.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
the bystander, everybody has a cell phone. Everybody's going to pull it out. Everybody's going to record, and everybody's going to have their angle and view on certain things.
Yeah.
We all just need to slow down, stop, and look at the situation
Mm-hmm.
and what's going on,
Yeah.
you know, and it's a human being. You know, what really did he do? And we've got a wide number of them, fatalities that ended over sitting on one's car and a false call to that this person did what another person think. It's crazy, you know, and we're coming into chaos, and there was none.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it's all about how we react to things too, in a sense, I think. So that's a little bit on that.
I can imagine that'd be challenging though. I mean, again, like, you know, I've never had to deal with that because, you know, I'm white, and, you know, unfortunately there's people who have had to go through those kind of things. I don't like watching those things either. But I don't see it through the lens that you do. So that's why I was just, you know, wanted to see your point of view on that.
Yeah, my heart starts to beat a little bit when I see flashing lights. Like, what did I do? Is my seatbelt on? Did I speed? Was that a red light I just ran? I don't know. Like, what did I do? Do I need to call my wife and put her on speakerphone? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
You know, who do I call? You know, and it's, yes, sir. No, sir. How can I help you, sir? Whatever it is, I'm going to reach for my registration. My wallet is right here next to me all times. You know what I'm saying? I just put it in the door, so I'm not making any funny moves or anything. But those are things that I have to consciously think about.
Wow.
You know, that, and again, I don't know where, you know, but it's just, but I know that I would hope that how I react to the situation, you know, they're going to react to the situation, and we both walk away, you know, and not have to go down that road.
Gotcha.
You know.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Jason. I appreciate that. So let's jump up to, you know, you work hard for 4 years, you earn a scholarship to Weber State University. I mean, talk about that experience. I mean, did you ever think that you were going to get a scholarship? Maybe you did, you know, maybe you're like, no, I'm getting one.
As I got better, I made that a focus and a goal. There were certain movies out growing up you'd watch. The Program was one of my favorite movies. It was kind of recruiting / you know, and I remember a scene in the movie before one of the linebackers gets taken out for the rest of the year, blows his knee out. He bought his mom a door knocker. And she's like, "What's this?" And he's like, "This is for the house that I'm gonna buy you when I get to the NFL." So what kid doesn't have aspirations of being a professional athlete?
Right. Yeah. So true.
I do remember before I signed or even got an offer from Weber State University, there were a couple high school buddies that went to rival high schools that went to Weber State University. And I'm like, Weber State, you're better than that. And that's where I end up, right? So I'm like, no, but there were a couple guys from Vegas. My roommate was actually a guy that I played against in both football and basketball and track. So that made the transition that much easier because I knew somebody from Vegas. We were roommates, roommates for 4 years. So it was super easy.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
nice. Yeah.
We come in, there's a big class of about 40 of us, and only a couple of us didn't redshirt. Again, I busted my butt. I worked hard. I wanted to play. I loved playing the game. And so I was fortunate enough to be able to play my freshman year at Weber State.
That's awesome.
But then now you're an adult, and now the stakes they rise a little bit more, and you have a lot more to lose. I didn't know what it was to be a student athlete. I didn't. I only know what it was to be an athlete. Now, I was a good student in high school, don't get me wrong, but high school is easy.
Yeah.
College was a little bit different because the professors don't care. They're not on you 24/7 like your teachers are or your coaches are when you're in high school. So in college, class isn't until 10 o'clock. I don't have to go to that class today.
Yeah.
I'd miss a class all week. I failed my first 3 quarters because we were on the quarter system back then. I failed my first 3 quarters. I didn't get to play spring ball. I lost my scholarship. So I had to go to summer school in order to get eligible, and hopefully grades would transfer back to Weber State so that I can play my sophomore year.
Really? Okay.
So now life starts coming at me really fast and start thinking about those things, you know. But unfortunately, again, lost a little bit of that work ethic and hard work and discipline, got it back, and then I just tried to keep it going,
Right.
and just keep it going. Grades weren't always the best in college. Classes are a little bit harder. You have to focus and study a little bit differently than you
Yeah.
did in high school.
You're right.
Testing centers and things like that, reading a little bit more than you want to or you have to, in order and the information, so I don't think anybody's the best test taker out there. So that
Right.
struggled a little bit, but I that was freedom to me as well. I was away from home, but I also missed home, but I wanted to get away as well. I wanted to make my mother proud of who I was, and what I was becoming and what I wanted. It's my life. I want to do what I want to do, so she was very happy and open. She cries to this day every time I come home and when I leave, because it's like, not a baby boy anymore, and it's like Vegas will always be my home.
Well, I'm sure she's very proud of you. You mentioned that earlier as well. That's always a good thing when your parents or parent is very proud of where you've came from and what you're doing now. Ultimately just being a good person, like you've talked about several times already, how important that is. Just being a good person, just be good. You one of the things you talk about, and you mentioned that, it's like you said, the teachers don't care if you go to class or not in college. They care less.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I've heard you even say, no one cares, work harder.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that for a minute. What does that mean exactly? I mean, I know what it means, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
It's just a I don't want to call it a mantra or anything like that. Lamar Jackson is actually wearing a T-shirt after football games. He quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens.
Right. Yeah.
That's not his name. But anyway, no, I kind of wish this was on video in a sense, just because you could kind of read my expression and you could, what my emotions or my thoughts are more than what my words are going to say.
Yeah. Sure.
I just look at that as life in a sense. No one cares. Work harder, and I think that goes for everybody and everything that you do.
Yeah.
You get sick, or you weren't able to go to work, or your power gets shut off, or your gas gets shut off, things like that. They don't care, just do something so that it doesn't happen.
Right.
The field that we work in is a very, very tough field, working with the individuals that we work with. And we can't say that to them. You can say that to a few of them, but you can't say it to all of them.
Right.
We have a program, but we treat everybody as individuals, and you know who you can talk to a certain way, and know who you can't talk to a certain way. And with that, sometimes you can use that and say, no one cares, work harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. What do you want me to do about that? That's your situation. That's your issue. That's your problem.
Well, and I've heard you say that a lot of times to clients and just even with colleagues, and it makes a lot more sense now knowing your upbringing. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, you want those shoes? Yeah, go do it.
Go work for them.
Go work for them. Go earn the money and go work for them.
She can't say what. I won't ever tell her the amount I'll spend on a pair of shoes.
Right.
But that's what I do.
Well, those that know you now, you have a nice array of shoes. Right?
We all have vices, and that's probably my vice is shoes.
Yeah, he's got a different pair every time I see him, which is I'm jealous. He's got a good set of shoes there, man. But I love that though, Jason, and I couldn't agree more. I usually I approach the client differently than saying that, where you can say to every one of them, take full responsibility for your life. And the moment you start doing that, that's when things will change.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day. And you're right. At the end of the day, no one's really going to care. So work harder, make your life better. And I love that you say that,
Nope.
So is that where you met your wife, at Weber State, or did you meet her afterwards? Or
I met her toward the end of my schooling and football playing days at Weber State.
Is she from up there or
She's
that
from
area?
Plain City, Utah.
Okay.
It's funny. She's a ex best friend of an ex girlfriend of mine, and I never even looked at her like that, you know.
Right.
And how we came to even start dating is a weird story that people that are close to us know and understand.
Mm-hmm.
Just a cool girl, and
Yeah,
she was just
awesome.
looking for a good guy, and I felt at that time I was a good guy, and
Mm-hmm.
we just started hanging out and been together ever since.
Yeah, 16 years.
Yeah.
Just got a new house too, so
Mhm.
congratulations on all of that.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So let's tell our listeners, what's your role here at Wasatch Recovery, and kind of, you talked about also, for the last 19 years you've been working in a field of serving other people. So maybe talk about that whole kind of what that looks like.
So for 15 years, I ran a group home setting, adolescent youth from 12 to 18 years old. I did that for 15 years, and then met a few employees that are here right now with Wasatch Recovery, and became friends with them, and told me to come out here and just a change up,
Right.
What I do, wear a lot of caps, with Wasatch Recovery, as I feel we all do.
Yeah.
There isn't one thing I do really, really good. I just think I do a lot of good things well.
Yeah.
I help with our admissions team to get people assessments for level of care, and they can start down at our place, which is outpatient, where they're able to roam freely and go home or go to work and do whatever they need to do, or they need to come into residential for get away from their lifestyle that they're living right now, and then do some outpatient work and also sober living if need be. Day treatment is 5 days a week, and outpatient, intensive outpatient is 3 days a week. And just talk to them, just talk to people, learn, teach, change thought patterns, habits, things like that.
Yeah. No, and you do a fantastic job, and you are a hard worker. And again, it's all, I'm putting all the puzzle pieces together in my head now, just understanding a little bit more of how you were raised and what you went through growing up. So, obviously you love helping people. What I love about you, Jason, is, I've always looked up to you in a way of, yes, I know you work hard, but I love your mindset. And what I mean by that is, the confidence that you have. It doesn't come across as arrogant. It's more of just, you're sure of yourself. And I know there's certain principles that you live by. Or is there some things there you could share with us? Like, how do you cultivate that, and where's that, coming from?
Necessarily, it's not, I'm not a big talker, and those that talk the most do the least.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think with looks that I probably incorporated from growing up, where you get that look and you stop, right. Because maybe the fear of whoever was put into you to knock it off, or I'm going to help you stop. But anyway, with that, I don't like to talk. That's why, how long has it taken you to get me in here and sit down? And it's probably,
months.
And I'm glad I'm here, but I'm more of, don't tell me, show me.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that you're done using and you're never going to use again. You don't have to say that. Just don't do it.
Just prove it.
Yeah. Just
by what
don't,
you do.
And your actions will speak volumes over any words you ever speak.
Yeah.
Your actions.
Yeah.
So with that, Todd, I look at, I just try to be soft-spoken, quiet, direct. I'm probably more indirect than I am direct, but it's more of action versus talking.
Right.
And if I say I'm going to do something, then now I have to put those words into action and do it and follow through, because if I don't, then I've let you down, or I've let a client down, or I've let a coworker or a boss, or you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
My mom, and that's where it was, is like, okay, I'll just Just do it.
Dang. I love that, man. And again, that is you. I mean, that's what I see of you. You don't talk a ton. You're not the loudest guy in the room. I heard it once that the loudest person in the room is the weakest, and that's perfect because, I mean, you are the guy that just kind of sits in the background for a minute. But when you say you're going to do it, I know it gets done.
I think that comes with age, too, because I think when we were younger, we were all fireballs. We were all like chomping at the bit, ready to go,
Yeah.
And they were like,
Yeah.
people like, you played football,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's different when you're between those lines and you're with your buddies in the locker room and you're going to battle, things like that. Yeah, there's a switch that we all have, but I think though too with age, you don't make a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
You kind of sit back, analyze everything, and then you make your decision based on all these little things. You know, not just something happened, boom, I got to do this. No,
Right.
It's like something happened. Okay. Did this get done? Did that get done? Okay, let's do this, and I think this field of work too helps with that too.
Yeah.
Kind of, not that anything isn't serious, because what we do is very serious.
Yeah.
But that's what 911's for, and the police and paramedics and doctors are for,
Right.
things like that, if it has to get to that level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. If someone's listening to this right now and they, maybe they're struggling, maybe they're trying to figure out their way, what advice could you give them?
I don't think it'd be any different from the clients that we work with on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you doing it for? You can't do this for anybody else but you. If you're doing it for anybody else, be it your child. I don't have children, but I'll say, and I've said it again, I don't want to let people down.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a fear of mine. It's a false belief or a weird belief in a sense, but we all have them too,
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
But it's more of, is this what you really want? Is this the lifestyle, or is there something else out there that you really want? You're going to do what you have to do to get to that.
Yeah.
But do it ethically, do it the right way, do it morally, in a sense. I don't know, but you have to, as an individual, have to want what it is that you're chasing, or you're not going to get it. If you're doing this for somebody else, it's not going to last.
Right.
It's not going to last.
No, I love that. Do it for you. I agree with you, Jason. We always do what we really want. And if you don't want it, you're probably not doing it.
Right.
Right. So no, that's great advice. I know you're kind of a private person, so I don't know if should ask you this question, but if someone wanted to reach out to you and just tell you thanks for this or ask you a question, is there a way that they could do that you'd be comfortable with?
Yeah, I think I'm an open book.
Sure.
My phone number's posted everywhere. I don't memorize what my Instagram or they're just things to follow people.
Right.
I don't even know, what is it, Coach English _101 or something like
right.
that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But my office is where my office is. My phone number is on the cards posted throughout the offices around,
Mm-hmm.
and inpatient or outpatient. Give me a call. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love it, man. Love it. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to share your story with us and some background. And I've learned a lot about you already, and very, very inspired. And I'm actually very impressed with your mom. Strict, but yet teaching you some very powerful lessons. And I'm hearing this and I'm going, man, I want to be more like that. And, I want to keep teaching my kids, who are all now older, but still, I can still teach and coach and help them,
Absolutely.
So thank you for sharing all that. And
you're welcome. Thank you. It means a lot.
Yeah. You're a great guy, Jason. Well, there you go, listeners. There's Jason English, man. What a great person, doing great things. And I love what he said about let's just be good people. Just be a good person, do the right thing, and everything else falls into place. And I love that you said that. And so there you go, listeners. Thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. And I appreciate your support in this. Share this with anyone you know who might benefit from this. And until next time.